When Elias Ward ended a long and painful relationship with his girlfriend, he expected heartbreak. He didn't expect to find himself trapped in a supernatural prison disguised as an apartment lease. After moving out from the place they once shared, Elias couldn't find another apartment. Every decent place in the city was either booked or absurdly expensive. He was running out of time, money, and patience when he stumbled across a listing too good to be true. A 3-bedroom unit in a suburban building surrounded by forest, 4th floor, private view, and half the normal rental price. He applied immediately. Within hours, he was accepted. The welcome package was delivered by hand before sunset. Inside the envelope was a letter from Viral Management welcoming him to Unit 4C and listing the rules for survival. Not for safety, not for etiquette. Survival. Rules for Unit 4C, Viral Management. 1. Your apartment door must remain locked at all times, whether you're inside or not. If you forget, contact support immediately. Do not attempt to re-enter without instructions. 2. Do not leave the apartment between 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. This is when the hallway creatures roam. They don't tolerate presence. They don't forgive curiosity. 3. If you absolutely must leave during those hours, carry 3 items. A flashlight to drive away the shadow-bound, a pouch of consecrated salt to protect against unseen stalkers, and a vial of reaction water to test if people are real. If they flinch, run. 4. Never, under any circumstance, go into the basement between 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. It's awake during that time. 5. If you are in the basement at any other time and hear growling from behind, leave quietly. Do not run. Running triggers the chase. 6. On Mondays and Thursdays, your doorbell will ring at exactly 3 a.m. A man in a silk top hat will be waiting. Let him in. Offer him food, any food. Be polite. He will eat in silence, thank you, and leave without using the door. If any object in your apartment changes position on its own, apply the silver-laced solution found under your kitchen sink. The activity will stop. Failure to act may result in the object vanishing forever. 9. Never stare into any mirror for more than 5 minutes. If you do, and your reflection begins to move independently, break the glass before it steps out. 10. Each apartment door is labeled with an Irithicon plate bearing the resident's ID. Never answer the door unless the person has called you beforehand. If someone knocks without calling, stay silent. It's not your neighbor. 11. If you receive a letter not sealed by Viral Management, Do not touch it with bare skin. Use gloves and burn it immediately. If you handle it, the postman will come, and you won't be ready. 12. All guests must follow these rules. If they fail, you pay the price with them. Do not attempt to break the lease or leave the apartment before the contract ends. No matter how far you run, you will wake up back in your bed, even if you die somewhere else. If your phone rings between 2:33 and 2:36 a.m. and the screen reads "Unknown operator," answer it. You will be asked a question. Answer honestly. If you lie, the caller will come to find you. It knows how to smell deception. Elias read the rules twice, then again. He wasn't sure if it was a prank, some urban legend, maybe a cursed lease horror meme. That night at 2:47 a.m., his doorbell rang. A soft female voice called, "Elias, please, it's me. Let me in." He didn't answer. Her voice deepened, turned jagged. "Elias!" The door began to shake violently. For 10 full minutes, it rattled and banged. Then, silence. He waited, heart racing, and looked through the peephole. Nothing. At 9:14 p.m. the next night, the lights in his apartment went out. Remembering Rule 11, he dove into the closet. He heard wet footsteps on tile. Something sniffed loudly, growled, furniture scraped, then silence. At 9:20 p.m., the lights came back on. At 3 a.m., his doorbell rang again. The man in the top hat stood exactly as described. Elias let him in. He offered a reheated plate of chicken and rice. The man said nothing. When he finished, he looked Elias in the eye. "Kindness always returns," he said, "as does hunger." Then he walked through the front door, literally. The door never opened. The next morning, Elias found an envelope on his doormat. No company seal. Rule 10. He used gloves and burned it in the sink. The paper screamed, a shriek high-pitched, inhuman. The fire turned blue. Later that day, he noticed his frying pan was gone. His bookshelf tilted. His remote control was no longer where he left it. He applied the silver solution from under the sink. Everything stopped moving. But he couldn't find the pan. That night, while showering, the lights died again. He sat in the tub, hidden behind the curtain. Heavy breathing, scratching claws, A long pause. Then it left. He dried off and walked toward the front door. It was unlocked. The amulet he wore around his neck ignited. It burned his chest as he locked the door. Panicked, Elias packed his bag, flashlight, salt, water, and left the apartment at 11 p.m. sharp. In the hallway, 3 shadows slithered forward. His flashlight sent them hissing into the walls. On the stairwell, he heard footsteps behind him. He poured salt in a circle, stood still. Laughter, screams, a child's voice whispered something unintelligible. Then silence. He made it to a nearby 7-Eleven, shirtless, shaking. The clerk stared. Elias mumbled something about being mugged. They called the police. He called the viral support line. A woman named Miss Hallie answered. "You violated Rule 1, she said. "We're relocating you. Stay where you are." He passed out in the company van on the way. Elias woke in a furnished guest unit. On the table, a new list. Guest unit rules, temporary holding. 1. Do not leave the unit until contacted by Miss Hallie. 2. Do not look into the bathroom mirror. Cover it. Wear a blindfold if needed. 3. If you do look, pray. 4. Leave a plate of food under the bed every night. If you forget, you may be eaten instead. 5. If a woman named Mrs. Fenwick knocks asking for help, ignore her. She will leave in 5 minutes. 6. If you hear 3 knocks at the window, ignore them. If you hear 2 slow knocks, followed by 3 fast ones, hide. If it enters while you're hiding, don't make a sound. It will leave after 3 minutes. 7. If you hear laughter from the ceiling, don't look up. That night, the knocks came, then the broken glass. Something huge entered, like a wolf, but with gray scales and human arms, red eyes, long claws. It sniffed his bed, then disappeared. The window resealed itself. Then Mrs. Fenwick arrived. Her voice trembled. "Elias, please help me. I dropped my key." His chest burned again. He sat still. After 5 minutes, she was gone. The next day, he got a call. "You're ready," said Miss Hallie. He woke in a room with no doors. On the table, a man waited in a gray suit. "I'm Mr. Viral," he said. "You've survived. You've obeyed. I offer you a contract. 1 condition. Bring me 3 souls. People tied to you. People you know." If Elias refused, He would go back. He accepted. 1 month passed. He delivered the 3 souls. He never said who they were. Now he writes the rules for new apartments, new buildings. He's tired, drinks often, wakes up screaming. He once tried to quit. He says that night was worse than all the others combined. Now he's writing rules for a new building, a modern complex. Eastview Towers, Building A13. He made the rules very specific, very personal. The first tenants? His ex-girlfriend and her new fiancé. He smiles now when he thinks of it. He's made sure the rules are harder, more creative. You may recognize a few of them already. The end, or maybe just the beginning.